Hi everyone, Kinich has the ability to fly like Spider-Man thanks to his exceptional skills. In combat, his mechanics feel very fun and dynamic, which makes his gameplay quite fun, although it can sometimes make things a bit awkward. In this guide, we'll take a look at Kinich's mechanics, discussing his squads, artifacts, weapons, and constellations. Kinich's normal attacks aren't really interesting to us, and we'll barely use them, although there is one curious thing. Now, Kinich is the only character in the game that can make normal attacks in free fall. You can only do this by climbing up with elemental reaction, provided that there are no enemies nearby. In this case, Kinich will fly into the air when the skill is activated, and its recharge time will be reduced by 60%. This is done to make it easier to move around the open world. If an enemy is near Kinich when he activates elemental reaction, he fires a hook at the enemy, gets caught by the enemy, and enters a Night Soul state with 0 points. This state lasts for 10 seconds, and each second Kinich gains 2 Night Soul points. If performing normal attacks while in this state, Kinich will spin around the enemy and deal dendro damage, gaining 3 Night Soul points for each shot. These shots don't do much damage and are only used to accumulate points. The maximum points are 20, and when he reaches them, there is an opportunity to use the shot, dealing damage to the target he is attached to. Blind spots also appear near the enemy. By entering them, Kinich gains 4 Night Soul points. This is the basic combat mechanic of Kinich, and I think you've already figured out how to play as him. Try to gain Night Soul points as fast as possible and enter blind spots to deal damage faster. It's also important to mention his first passive skill, which also increases Night Soul points. If an enemy takes damage from burning or burgeon, Kinich, while hooked to it, gains 7 Night Soul points for each tick of damage, but not more than once every 0.8 seconds. As a result, in squads without burning or burgeon, Kinich manages to perform 3 attacks, while in squads with burning or burgeon, he can perform 4 and in rare cases even 5 attacks in the same period of time, significantly increasing his damage. If you use the charged version of elemental reaction before capturing an enemy, you can manually select a target to capture. If you accumulate 20 Night Soul points and activate elemental reaction, you can manually select a target to attack, and Kinich will switch to it after firing. You can change the target at any time. All of his attacks with elemental reaction are considered elemental reaction damage. Elemental Burst summons Aja, which deals dendro area damage for 15 seconds with a roll of 18 seconds. It's just extra damage, which is always nice. Plus, if you use Elemental Burst during a hook bind, the bind is retained and its effect is increased by 1.7 seconds, which is exactly how long the Elemental Burst animation lasts. You can safely use this ability in the middle of a rotation without fear of interrupting the elemental reaction or shortening its time. Also, this ability continues to attack even after Kinich leaves the battlefield. Squads with Kinich are divided into categories. Consider the option of squads through burning. A squad with Emily, Bennett, and Xiangling looks good here. Bennett increases everyone's attack, Emily does damage on burning, Kinich supports burning and gets a lot of Night Soul points. And Xiangling puts pyro on the enemy. At a glance, everything looks great. The downside is that because Kinich is spinning, he won't be able to stay in Bennett's clearing all the time, so the attack boost doesn't always work. You can also experiment with other dendro and pyro characters such as Dehia or Nahida. However, it is important to have characters in your squads that deal damage at the level of Xiangling or Emily. Kinich gets bonuses from Burgeon as well. The Burgeon activator is best served by Thoma. Kinich works well with Yelan and Xingqiu activating their skills, so we can put one of them on the second slot. On the fourth slot, we add a second Hydro character. It can be Sigewine or Furina. Or we can put Bennett or Zhongli. There is another variant of the squad which consists of Kinich, Furina, Bennett, and Xiangling. Here we have a permanent burning, because Furina has very little Hydro. Furina not only boosts Kinich and Xiangling, but also constantly triggers Vape. It is also possible to make a squad through Hyper Bloom. In this case, put Raiden on the first slot to activate Buds, because Kuki will not reach the enemy. Yelan or Xingqiu can also be used as a Hydro character, but it's better to use both of them at once. Nahida can be used in place of one of them, but then there may not be enough Hydro. You can also make a squad with Quickened Reaction, which will consist of Kinich, 2 Electro characters, and 1 Anemo. We can put Fischl as the first Electro and Yaemiko for the second slot. Beidou does not work with Kinich. Let's take a look at weapons. In any squad, we need attack, crit damage, and various elemental reaction boosts. In most cases, the best solution is his signature weapon, thanks to its large base attack, high crit rate, and a passive that significantly increases the damage of skills and elemental burst. However, it is only effective with burning or burgeon reactions. If there are no such reactions in the squad, it turns into a simple weapon with a high base attack and crit rate, which is also not bad but already at the level of other legendary weapons. Thus, signature weapons are only useful in squads with burning or burgeon reactions. Next are 3 weapons that are roughly equal in power. The first is the Dehaya signature weapon, the second is the Navia signature weapon, the third is the BP weapon. Redhorn Stone Thresher is a good weapon with crit damage but without any other enhancements. The best available solution is a new crafted weapon, but in this case it is important that you interact with Pyro. It turns out that again you need to play from Burning Aubergine. I don't see the point in considering other weapons when there is an available crafting solution that is clearly better. What artifacts should you put on Kinich? The main characteristics of artifacts are attack, dendro damage, and crit rate. The leader among the sets is Obsidian Codex. It gives crit rate and interacts with Night Soul's new mechanics. The Dark Fruit of Bright Flowers artifacts are only applicable in squads with burning, but even there Obsidian Codex is a bit better. Deepwood Memories is perfect if no one in your squad is wearing it. It's a good option for Kinich. Lowering resistors significantly increases efficiency. Ideally, these artifacts should be worn by someone else in the squad. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dendro character, by the way. Marechaussee Hunter is only effective in squads with Furina because without it, Kinich can't manage his own health. So, the only thing left to discuss is Constellation. C1 allows Kinich to increase movement speed after jumping, and most importantly, increases elemental reaction hit damage by 100% crit damage. C2 reduces enemies' resistance to dendro by 30% and gives Kinich a 100% bonus to his first elemental reaction hit. C3 adds 3 levels to the elemental reaction ability, which is a nice improvement but not as powerful as the first 2 constellations. C4 helps to store energy and also increases the 70% bonus to elemental burst. It looks like the developers decided to simplify constellations and just increase the numerical values. C5 increases elemental burst by 3 levels with no significant effect. C6 adds Kinich area damage, in which blows ricochet between enemies, dealing dendro damage equal to 700% of his attack. These ricochets also receive bonuses from passive skills. In general, constellations are a straightforward damage boost. Just an increase in numbers. The developers offer almost nothing interesting in constellations in terms of gameplay. Kinich turns out to be quite a curious character. The gameplay offers something new and dynamic. In this respect, he can be compared to Chlorinde. His team's damage is generally good. I like this character. I recommend him to anyone who already has Emily, as he complements her well, although he has good teams without her attendance. Well, that's the end of my story. Thanks for watching. Write in the comments what you think about Kinich and subscribe to my channel. It gives me more motivation to make videos more often and make them more interesting. See you soon.